All right, welcome everyone. My name is Ken Hearn, and I'm going to take you through a little roll and stretch today. Now, if you've never done rolling today, we're primarily going to use the foam roller. So hopefully you have one of these. If you don't, I will show you some other different things we can do. We can at least look at the foam rolling and hang around for the stretching. I'll also talk about the different variations of foam rolling using a lacrosse ball and even using rolling sticks. You don't have to worry about those if you don't have those. I'm just going to show you some of the differences that you can use as far as rolling some of those areas. One of the biggest things we'll look at today is the major muscle groups when we talk about foam rolling. They are going to be your big muscle groups, right? Your chest, your glutes, quads, and calves, things like that. There's also some of the auxiliary stuff you can roll as well, but the idea is to try to release some of that tissue. Fascia is what we're trying to roll on. The fascia is the connective tissue that supports the whole muscle group. It basically allows us to move the way we do, but what can happen sometimes is whether we're working out and we get sore muscles afterwards, or we've done a continuous position and we get sore muscles from that, or we sit too much and we get sore back. The idea of myofascial release is to release some of that tissue that's either been stuck as it's recovering. Whenever we go into a recovery period, that scar tissue can build up in the fascia and kind of get it stuck. That'll open it up, allow that. And fascia, remember, well, not remember, but if you don't know fascia, it's like a spider-like tissue that is better when it is wet, if you will. So fluid or water is also a good thing when we foam roll. To have water in our system, it's like a sponge. It's very much like a sponge. If it's hard, it's harder to roll that fascia and get it to release. But if it's pliable and wet, it'll be a lot easier to roll that tissue. So just something to think about there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the foam roller. We're going to be on the ground for a lot of the foam rolling. You can do some foam rolling at the against a wall, but for our sakes, we're going to go to the ground. We're going to go ankles all the way up. We'll flip over when we need to, and then we'll finish by stretching them, because what we do is we release that fascia, then we stretch it. All right, because once it's broken up, then we can basically elasticize the muscles there and get everything feeling a little bit better. Idea is increase range of motion and increase your ability to move and not feel a little bit of pain. Okay, so let's go ahead and start at the bottom. So we go to the calf first. Now the calf can be a difficult one to do because when we do foam rolling, if we do both calves, right, we have to kind of prop ourselves up for that to do both calves. So a lot of times I suggest going to one. You still have to put the pressure, but now you can use this plant foot to roll that single calf. So let's go ahead and start there. We're going to roll that single calf, and we're just going to go back and forth. Now, you're not going to apply as much pressure, right? You're not going to get as much pressure as if you did them together. So if you prefer more pressure, go ahead and do 2 legs here, and you can do 2 legs as long as we'll switch and do 1, but this is just a little easier on the shoulders and hands. Good. And if you're at a level surface too, you could even just use that foot, make sure that you're doing that. With the calf, make sure we're doing the sides of the calf as well as the meat of the calf. All right, if you haven't yet, let's go ahead and go to that other side of the calf. If you're doing both, keep it going. It's not a bad thing. So as you see here, I turn the foot inside, put the foot up regular. We want to get all aspects of that calf. And if you feel like it's rolling too high, just readjust. What you're really trying to get is from the bottom to the top of the meat of the calf. That's what we're looking for. Go too low, we get a little too much Achilles. We go too high, we get into that knee joint. Excellent. Very good. So now I want to show you, a lot of times we'll just go right to the hamstring, but I want to look at the tibialis today. So tibialis does a little bit different. What we have to do, I want to get a good angle so I can show you all how we roll the tibialis. But what we want to do is get planted almost like in a push-up position. We're going to get the body up. We're going to get that foam roller underneath the tibialis here. And what we're going to do is roll the tibialis this way. Let me see if I can show a better angle of it from this direction. So we're going to get in that push-up position, and then we're actually going to put the side of the tibialis so that it rolls back and forth. Now, you can even put a little bit more pressure by coming down on the ground. Let me go around. Sometimes making sure I have a better angle to show you all is the best thing. But I can come down on the ground and actually put that other foot straight so that I can roll right along that tibialis. All right, so you can do one foot planted, one foot on, or you can do both feet so you get more pressure. So right, if I'm not doing the other foot, I would do this, but this is gonna put a lot more pressure on the chest and the hands. All right, so let's go ahead and roll that if you haven't already. I'm gonna do the 1 foot method here, right? So I can put pressure down on that tibialis. And because you kind of probably been doing this while I've been showing, go ahead and switch to the other side. Tibialis, big part of shin splints, right? If you ever heard of shin splints, and a big part of our ankle's ability to flex or to plantar flex and dorsiflex. Good. Go ahead and keep rolling on that for a second. What I was talking about with that, plantar flex and dorsiflex is our ability to bend the ankle. This is really important for walking, running, all those good things. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and finish up there. Let's come to a kneeling position now, bringing the foam roller right here. Since we're already on the front side, I try not to flip too much, try to do consecutive things together. Come to the knee. We're going to lay right over that. This is on our quadriceps, and we're just going to roll top of the knee, back down. You'll notice I'm pivoting on the forearms. All right, so this one is not as difficult for us to stay up. This is kind of like a half plank position, but we're pivoting on that forearm to get a good roll back and forth. This is another one, go ahead and keep rolling if you're not, that you could do one at a time, right? If you want to isolate the quads a little bit more, you could do one at a time, or you could do both together. Something else, I'm going to get back to that forward, is we could even cross the legs. This tightens up that tissue a little bit more, gives us a little bit more to look at. And if we're doing double leg, we could also lift one up and roll, right? We lift one off the ground and roll to get a little bit more extensive in that quadricep muscle. A lot of fun, right? Rolling can be fun. It just can be a little difficult to get into some of these positions. Biggest thing you got to remember, we're trying to roll this density foam roller over the big part of the muscle. We go up to the hips, down to the top of the knee. Okay, we're going to go flip back over. We're going to start by sitting on the foam roller. So this one takes a little bit of balance. So what you do is you put both hands on, put that glute on, and now we're on top of the foam roller. I'm going to kind of go a little bit of side view so we can do this together. So once we're on the foam roller, what we're going to try to do is do a little glute. I'm going to come back to the hamstring. This one will be a little bit better to do the glute and then work your way down the hamstring. But what we're going to do is find just the side of the glute. We're going to lay on the right side of the glute, and we're just going to go forward. We can let this leg kind of extend out, or we can keep it here. It's not going to make a difference. The big difference is the plant leg. I'm just going to lift up so you can see here, put it back here. You can see this leg isn't going anywhere. It's just planted, but it's allowing me to pivot on the knee and put that pressure on the glute, rolling in and out. You're going to feel some glute here. You can even go a little further and almost on the side of the hip. This is going to be a little more glute medius. You'll feel some tenderness on the glutes. The glutes and the quads are probably the most felt of the foam rolling, right? They're usually the most sore as well. Good, let's go ahead and switch over. So we're just going to do the other side. Same thing, just trying to pivot. Now I'm pivoting on this knee. And again, I can go a little further. You can kind of extend your roll out by how well you pivot on the knee. If you want to go a little further, you could probably go a little longer on that roll. A little closer to you is going to be shorter rolls, if you will. Go ahead and keep going on that roll. One of the things we're going to look at as well is the glutes. Glutes are a big part of low back issues because if the glutes are tight, they're pulling down on those lumbar muscles. So rolling out the glutes is going to be a really, really good thing, especially if you're sitting a lot. This is a really good one. I'm going to show you one more. We're going to come back to this glute, to the other side. One of my favorites is to really isolate the piriformis inside the glute by putting this leg up. So before when we were rolling, we just had it here. Now what we're going to do, put this leg up if you can, and we're going back and forth. You're going to feel a little bit more isolation on the glute where you're rolling because now we've tightened that muscle. And when that muscle's tight, now all of a sudden that fascia is a little bit more available to roll on. And you're going to feel a little bit more intense. And we're going to go to the high glute area or almost low back area a little bit further on that roll. Now, if you have any issues with the wrist, you're not going to want to do this because you want to be able to support your other hand, or you can go to a fist on this backside. All right. And sometimes I'll tell folks even put a towel down or something just to support a little bit of that wrist. Let's go ahead and switch if you haven't yet. So we're going to the other side, same thing. And when we do this piriformis stretch, you're always putting the foot up on the knee of the same side that you're rolling, right? So my left ankle is up on my knee because I'm rolling on the left side. So just think that, because some people get confused and they start rolling like this, and that doesn't work. You'll still get some glute rolling, but it'll feel all kinds of awkward. Promise you that. Go ahead and keep rolling on that side. One more time. Very good. And all we're going to do next, you're still on the glute. You're still sitting on that foam roller. All we're going to do now is using our hands, we're just going to kind of roll off of that foam roller, and now it's under our hamstrings. This one is just like the calves, where we can go double leg, and I like to cross to put them together a little bit, or you could put one foot down and go on one hamstring at a time, all right? When we're looking at foam rolling, folks, we're looking at about 8 to 10 rolls per muscle group. So if you're looking at time, it's probably like 30 seconds per muscle group to a minute. If you're looking at reps, 8 to 10, somewhere in there. Good. If you were doing one side, let's switch to the other. If you're doing both, we're going to keep that up. Again, if you had towels or anything for the hands, you could also go up on the fists. Sometimes that helps with the hands. Sometimes it doesn't. If you were or ever able, go ahead and keep rolling if you're rolling right now. I just want to show another example. We have these things called rolling sticks. So you can get these at any sporting goods store. Some look like this, some look a little bit more hardened. These sticks are really great for the hamstrings because you don't have to sit there and beat up the wrists. So if you don't like, getting on those wrists all the time, these are going to be really good. You can even get the calves in an elevated position. They kind of look like this. So these would be good for that foam rolling option if you don't like getting down, putting those wrists under a lot of pressure. Okay, we are going to get to the back. We're almost finished with our foam rolling section, but we're going to get to the low back first, then some upper back. We'll get there soon enough. Okay, so go ahead and come out, put that foam roller right around that lower back section, and then you're just going to move it to about the mid back section. So this is going to be where we pivot up. So there's a couple different ways too. You could also put it upper back section, if you will, and plank up, if you will. So you're going to take your glutes, push them up in the air. Now you're on the foam roller. The foam roller's off the ground, or your glutes are off the ground. You're putting that pressure on the foam roller. Apologies. So we can extend our legs out and go to higher glutes or higher upper back, or we can bring our legs to us and go a little bit lower. We never really want to roll on the lower back. It's a very small muscle group. We'd want that to be more self-massage, or if you're using massage therapy, rolling on the lower back can sometimes make it a little worse. So we try to avoid the roll back. We roll on the glutes, and then we roll on the mid to upper back. So I will show you a quick version if you wanted to. What I like to do sometimes is I like to put the foam roller underneath the glute. I'll lift my glutes up like that, just in a bridge formation, and then you can place the foam roller right below the lower back range, and you can pick this up and put it down. You'll feel a little bit in that lumbar section. But again, try to make sure that we're not aggravating. If you have any low back issues, you don't want to be rolling on it, but this is a good one to kind of release a little bit of that lower back. All right, let's finish up on the upper back if we haven't yet. So we're going to come back to this position, and we're going to actually put the hands behind the head. And what I want to do is roll to the base of the neck, so we can use our feet to get us there. We're going to roll the base of the neck, and then we're going to roll the mid-back. And we're using our legs for this one. It's kind of the opposite, right? We were using our shoulders and hands before. Now we're using the legs. Let's go ahead and roll that out. Now what I want you to do is take your right hand and put that straight out and kind of roll onto that right side. You're going to feel a little bit different in that shoulder blade. This is a good way to really isolate the rear deltoids, the lat muscles on that right side. All right, we got the hand out, and then we're just going to switch the hand, and we're going to kind of lean on that left side now. So whatever hand is out, that's the side we're leaning on. Upper back is one of my favorites because we really feel all that tension. Could be from that tech neck or from bad posture. This is a good one to release a lot of that tension in the back. Now let's go back to both hands open. And what I want you to do is take your elbows and put them together so they're upright, and you'll feel a little bit more tighter in that fascia of the upper back. Good. A few more rolls here. Open them back up. Feel the difference there, or you should. And then close them back up one more time. Upper back's a real fun one to do. We roll that out, get that going, and let's go ahead and come up from there. A really good roll on that upper back area. If you wanted to look at the neck, this is similar to the lower back. We never want to put any pressure, but you can put the foam roller in between, almost like a pillow, and from here we're going to roll to the left and roll to the right. Just nice, easy. You'll feel a little bit of pressure from that foam roller, not going very fast, but this is a good way to just kind of, you're rolling on the foam roller instead of the roller rolling under you. That's kind of how that works out, right? We roll here, we roll to the left. Perfect, perfect job. Okay, let's get into the stretching, some of the stretching from this position. We're already using our foam roller as a pillow, so let's go ahead and keep that there as a pillow. One of the first stretches that we could do is we're going to take our left ankle and put it up on our right knee. All right, I'm going to actually, let's go the opposite so you can see this from the start. Once our knee's up just like this, we are going to keep our ankle up here. We're going to push down on our knee, and we're going to feel that come through the hip flexors. All right, we're going to push through those, hold it. When we're stretching, the best part of stretching is to hold for roughly 30 to 40 seconds. Today's going to be a little quicker, just so we can get through all of them, but we're going to hold here, 3, 2, and 1. We felt that good hip. Now we're going to take both hands. The reason I like keeping the foam roller here is because when you reach like this, it's a lot easier. If you put this down, now when I'm reaching, it really feels like I'm pulling on my neck. So using the foam roller as your neck brace or as a neck pillow, really good for the ease of the stretching. We're going to take these hands on the knee, pull it across. We're trying to pull that right knee to the left shoulder. So just pull it right up and towards that knee. You should feel the stretch come through the glutes. We rolled these earlier. So now we're allowing for that glute, that piriformis, that glute medius on the side here to all stretch out. This is one of the big ones, one of the best stretches here for any lower back or even weakness in the hips. These are really good stretches. Excellent. As I said, we're not going to hold it as long, but this is one that you can hold a little longer if you would like. Let's go ahead and release that. Let's go to the other side. Same thing. Taking this hand, just pushing down, feeling that stretch coming through the hips. This is going to be our piriformis hip flexor stretch. We're stretching those out. These are the I'm sorry, not piriformis, but psoas and hip flexor. Piriformis is in the back, psoas in the front. Getting all my parts today. Excellent. Keep pushing. 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and grab now. Pull towards us. 5, 4. We're just doing a nice slow count. Feel that good glute stretch. 3. Excellent. 2. Good stretch on that left side. And One. Excellent, excellent job. So that's the biggest one that we would want to use for that kind of, using that pillow. Let's go ahead and come up. I want to look at the calf next. So the calf could require a couple things. I'm going to use a chair today just to show you, but if you have a wall, if you have a desk, something solid that you can do, the calf stretch is a pretty easy stretch where we're just pushing that foot back and allowing that calf to stretch. And if it's not enough, we just step back a little further. We want to make sure the heel comes down so that we feel that calf stretch. Again, off the wall is the best way to do this one, just to feel that good calf stretch. We've rolled it out, so we want to make sure that we now open up the tissue. Let's go ahead and switch. And now when we foam roll and stretch, we feel a lot better. We feel opened up. Remember that foam rolling and myofascial release in general is all about consistency. You will tighten back up because the body is adapting to what you're doing. If you keep foam rolling and you keep rolling out that fascia, it will adjust to that. So it's all about rolling over time. Usually it's a really good feel that first time. Sometimes it hurts during. That's okay. As long as we're not getting any sharp pain, it's more like it just feels like the muscle's sore. 3, 2, and 1. We got those calves going. That's another good stretch. Hamstring stretch. Couple different ways we can do this. From a standing position, we can stretch it just like this. We put one foot in front, we push the one foot back, and we push our glutes forward, keep our back flat. If we do this, that's not stretching the hamstrings, that's stretching our back. So we got to have that back flat. Think of this way. If I'm standing like this, take your chest and push it towards your thigh, not your eyes, because when we use our eyes, we roll over. Take your chest, push it to your thighs like this. This is going to straighten that out, get us a good hamstring stretch. If we're laying down, we could pull the leg to us to get another good hamstring stretch. Or if you're comfortable with your balance, you could also put it up on an elevated surface. And again, flat back. Same thing I'm doing from the ground. I'm just on an elevated surface. Just make sure you're comfortable with that balance. Let's go ahead and switch the side if you haven't yet. And we'll go to the other side. And again, I'm going to do that standing one. We'll go from here, trying to push on that hamstring. Feel that good stretch. Excellent. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. When we talk about the quads, these are one of the toughest ones to stretch because we can lay down if we have a stretch strap. We could lay on our back, hook it to the foot, and pull it like this, right? If we're laying it flat. If not, from the air, we've kind of got to use balance. Either the wall, table, something solid, and then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our ankle and we're going to pull from here. Now, some have a difficulty grabbing the ankle. You can grab the back of the shoe. So sometimes it's easier to kind of hook your foot in the back of the shoe and pull that way. Or sometimes if you do have a stretching strap, that can be an easier stretch as well. For us today, we're going to grab what we can. I am not a big proponent of doing one of these the whole time and trying to find your balance. You're working on balance there, but you're not getting a good stretch because you're so busy trying to find your balance that you're not really stretching the quad. So I'm big on using balance for the quads when we're stretching. If we're in a balance session, this is great. But use that balance because then I can increase it a little bit. I can lean forward and get even more quad stretch. Let's go ahead and switch the side. So again, if you're looking for balance, that's great. But if you're not looking for balance, we don't need to try and do all this crazy stuff. Just put your hand on something that's solid, something that's not going to move, and then give yourself that nice, good quad stretch. Excellent. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. I'm just going to put these down here. I like to use a chair for this next stretch for the back. Couple different ways. If you have a rolling chair, it's going to be a little different. A rolling chair, you're going to let it roll forward. But if you have a chair with 4 legs, what I like to do is find a nice solid space where I'm not off balance, put it up on those 2 legs, and I just reach forward and stretch out that back. Again, if it's a rolling chair, let's say this is on wheels, I'm just going to let it roll forward and kind of let the wheels do the work for me. And if you're using a desk, you're going to push your butt back and keep those hands and let those hands slide across the desk. The idea is that and I'll come a little closer here, but the idea is that we're pushing the butt back and we're getting those upper body or upper neck muscles and back muscles stretched out, and we can just keep reaching with those muscles. Get that head down as well too. You'll feel that comes through those rear delts a little bit more. So go ahead and hold this one. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One of my favorite stretches. The other thing you could do with that back, if you have a solid pole or something, you could actually hold onto that pole and kind of lean back into it to get that upper back or lat or trap stretch going. Myofascial release is a great tool for muscle recovery. It's a great tool for pain relief sometimes if the pain is due to muscle. It's also a great tool for opening up the pathways for the fascia, increasing the fluid that gets moved through the fascia. And if we get to the muscle structure as well, it's good for opening up blood supply. It's good for our ability to recover from good sessions or from sitting too much, from standing too much, all those good things. So really think about that the next time you're doing the fascia, the rolling, or using, we didn't get to chest today, right? So chest you could use with a foam roller, but one of the best things is a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball or baseball. We just take this and roll it across the chest. That's one of the best ways to get the chest when we're foam rolling, and then we would do like a doorway stretch or anything like that to open up the chest as well. A lot of different avenues. If you're interested in more myofascial release or more foam rolling or stretching, just reach out to your fitness coach. We'll walk you through it. We could set up some time to get that a little bit more further. But for today, I thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you opened up a little bit of muscle tissue. Hopefully you feel a little more loosey-goosey, all that. And hopefully you'll join us for the next specialty class. Thanks so much, everybody. I really appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your day.